Welcome to this Wisdom Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about a recent study that I came across and the power of planning. So recently I came across this study. It was a group, the goal was to help a group of people become more consistent with their exercise, to make exercise a part of their life. And they divided these people into three different groups. They had a measurement group, they had a motivation group, and then they had a planning group. So group number one was measurement. They were told to track how often they exercise, how they were progressing with their exercise. So they're measuring their progress and their consistency with their exercise. Group number two did the measurements, so they were tracking their exercise, and they were given a motivational message once a week, something to motivate them, to encourage them, to give them, some tips and things like that to keep them on the path to exercising. That was group number two, and then group number three was a planning group. So they did all three. So they did measurements, so they tracked their progress. They did a motivational message each week, and then the third piece of it was they added a plan. So they had a plan. Most of the plan, it wasn't a fancy plan at all. It was simply a plan of when are you planning on exercising. Write down the date and the time of when you are planning to do your next exercise. So they just had a plan, a schedule of when they were going to do their next exercise. I actually think in this study it would have been even more effective if they had actually a prescribed workout plan that they were going to be executing, which they may have had, I'm not sure. But those were the three groups. Now, group number one had a 38% success rate. So not bad, but not great either. 38% success rate with just tracking their exercise. Group number two had the measurement, the tracking, and the motivational piece each week. They had only a 35% success rate. So actually their success rate actually went down by adding the motivational message on top of it. Group number three, though, had all three. They had the measurement, the tracking, they had the motivational message each week, and then they had their plan with when they were going to be exercising. That group had a 98% success rate, a 98% success rate. So a huge increase simply by adding the planning aspect on top of things. Now, planning is a huge aspect of life. I've heard it said that planning is one of the highest expressions of faith that there is. The ability to look out into an unknown future, because you don't know what the next day is going to bring. The ability to look out into the unknown future and to create a plan is one of the highest expressions of faith. So how do we incorporate planning? How do we make planning a bigger part of our life? Number one, we have to have a goal. We have to have a direction that we are trying to head in, something that we are trying to work towards, and then we need to start to think about what are the action steps that I need to be taking to start working towards that goal. And ideally, I need to put them into proper sequential order. So the steps that I need to be taking, because sometimes, and I have a plan, I can be taking steps out of order. So I need to have a plan, see where I'm going, and then what are the sequential steps that I'm going to need to be taking to get to that goal, to get to that destination. So that's number one. Now, a lot of times when we get in the planning process, we get stuck because maybe we don't know all of the steps. When you're in the planning process, just begin to list out, think about trying to plan out, in this case, they're trying to schedule their workouts for a whole year out. That would be pretty hard to do, but maybe you could schedule the first week or the first 2 weeks, whatever, maybe even the first one. List out the steps that you know that you need to do. And so when it comes to a planning process, a lot of times we get lost in trying to think too far out. Begin to list out what are the steps that I know I need to take, in the next near future, and begin to put them in proper sequential order. A lot of times as you get further down the path, the next steps will begin to unfold. If you just kept asking your question, all right, what's the next step? What's the next thing I need to do? Eventually your plans will begin to unfold as you move down the path. That's number one. Number two, so we got to have a goal. We got to have sequential steps to the process here. And then number three, there's a proverb that says that plans fail for a lack of counsel. So whenever you're beginning to make a plan, I think the shortcut to get a better plan, a lot of times we want to have a better plan in place so that we have better success. Find somebody who's knowledgeable in the things that you want to do. Find somebody, a mentor, a coach, an advisor, trusted friends, somebody that you trust to help you create your plan. Whenever you create your plan, you're going to get more perspective. You're going to create a more balanced plan, and you're going to be much more likely to have success in the process. So when we want to make a plan, we got to have a goal or direction of where we want to be moving. We got to list out the steps in sequential order. And as I'm going through that process of listing out the steps, enroll the help of some other people to help you, coaches, mentors, advisors, trusted friends, people that are knowledgeable in what you want to do. Get them to help you make your plans so that they are more balanced. Now, something we've been creating is a program called 40-Day Refresh. What we do is this: we help go through a 40-day process to help you create a new direction and goal for your life and begin to create plans to be moving in that direction. So we create a 1-year plan for the direction you want to be taking your life over the next year. And then beyond that, once we get on the other side of that, we begin to make some shorter term plans and list out the action steps. What are the things I need to be doing on a daily, weekly basis? We begin to actually make some 6-week and 7-week plans on the backside of your 1-year plan to really put this thing into action, start moving towards your goals at an accelerated rate. But those 3 things, measurement and tracking your progress, having some encouragement and motivation along the way, and then finally the final piece is planning. Having those 3 aspects in place can give a 98% success rate towards you reaching your goals. We got to make planning part of the process. I hope this helps you in that process. If you want to find out more about 40-day refresh, you can go to danielfoley.net and find access to the 40-day refresh material there.